Good morning. Welcome to the forecast discussion for Friday, February 12th, 2021. And boy, do we have a lot to talk about. But I just want to let you know, we are going to have our first public live video chat tonight. I will let you know via social media, via Twitter, Facebook, you know the rest, and also on here. When exactly that time will be this evening, just have to check a few things, but it should be fun. We'll talk about this ice threat and a couple of other questions you might have. So here is our surface map this morning. You can see it is pretty cold out there with temperatures ranging from the single digits in the mid-Hudson River Valley down to the mid-20s down towards southern New Jersey. With a northerly wind, high pressure is building in and that Arctic air is really settling in. And notice these dew points below zero to the mid-teens. This is something that we really have to watch out for when we're dealing with this upcoming weekend. Why? Well, we have this stationary front here and these waves of low pressure. Now, high pressure is building in. You can see the cold air damming very nicely here. You see this little kink here that's like showing up? This is the Appalachians. And here's the cold air coming down the coastal plain. So it's basically the cold air is locked between the coastal waters and the mountains. And that's how you get this signature. Meanwhile, Arctic air is also streaming down into the plains and interacting with this frontal boundary here with waves of low pressure. That's producing this radar signature. Okay, now I went national for a reason here. This area is all the moisture coming out of the Gulf of Mexico. Little waves of low pressure, weak waves, are going to be moving along this frontal boundary and lifting northward and sending this precipitation northward in waves. It's not going to be steady and heavy. It's going to be one wave for a few hours moving through the Philadelphia metro, then it tapers off, and then we get another wave. Don't look at this as start and finish. Look at this as a perpetual wintry mess from tomorrow evening all the way on through President's Day. And the problem here is that we're dealing with freezing rain and sleet. And you don't need a lot to create a lot of problems. Then this little swirl out here is going to make all heck of a lot of mess down in the southern plains this weekend. And then head towards our neck of the woods by the time we get to Tuesday. And that is a complicated storm forecast as well. On the infrared satellite picture, you can really see this really nicely. Now, remember what I always say. The colder the cloud tops, the stronger the lifting. Why? Because the cloud top is going higher in the atmosphere, and the upper atmosphere is pretty cold, so cold cloud tops. In this scenario, you can see we have a nice defined area of lifting, okay, from the Gulf Coast all the way to the southern mid-Atlantic. Little waves of low pressure will develop here because of this lifting, push northward towards our coastal waters, and that's what's going to lead to waves of light to moderate precipitation. Meanwhile, we have this storm out here. This will interact with this boundary by the time we get to Monday night, and on Tuesday, it's going to be visiting our neck of the woods and potentially redeveloping off the coast, making for a rather complicated forecast. But of course, the way this winter has been, it wouldn't be a winter storm without it being complicated. So this is closer to home. You can see the clearing skies pushing southward. There's our boundary pretty much hanging out here, producing a few flurries down towards Cape May and around the Delmarva Peninsula. But that is about it for today. So this is what I'm looking for right now for tomorrow evening on through Sunday morning, which also happens to be Valentine's morning if you don't know, or you forgot. Hopefully you didn't forget. No, you couldn't have forgotten. So here is our forecast, okay? Now, adjustments are going to have to be made based on what I see this afternoon, but the idea right now is Zone 4 is light snow and sleet, maybe about 2 to 4 inches of snow, most locations around that 2-inch mark. Zone 3 is where you get this mix of snow, sleet, freezing, rain, and the problem here is that temperatures stay below freezing, okay, throughout the entire period from 6 p.m. tomorrow through 2 p.m. Sunday. So that leads to a 1/10 to 1/4 of an inch of ice, freezing rain, and that could be some real issues here. Then Zone 2 is a little bit closer to the coast, basically along and just south of I-95. And this zone, in Zone 2, is basically snow, sleet to freezing rain to rain, okay? And that's a trace to an inch of snow and up to 1/10 of an inch of sleet and maybe 1/10 of an inch of freezing rain. This area is going to be real tricky because the latest guidance is keeping temperatures right around 32, 33. So if you're at 33 in rain, not too bad, right? Because it's just rain. If it's 32 or 31 and rain, that means it is freezing rain. And freezing rain is a nightmare. So just make the assumption if it's 33 in rain that it's actually 32 in rain and that your thermometer is off by 1 degree. So that way you don't slip and fall because it's going to be nasty out there. And then zone 1, this is where our temperatures get up into the mid-30s. Maybe a few upper 30s mixed in there. And that's where we change over to rain. You may see a trace of snow and sleet out of this. But for the most part, you're dealing with just a cold rain at like 35, 36 degrees. Now, if there's any type of indication that it ends up being colder, like let's say the drier dew points, lower dew points, that's going to lead to a more of expansion of zone 2 into zone 1. So we'll keep an eye on that. So that's a complicated forecast, and we're just getting started. So here is the forecast over the next 7 days. Okay, so for today, we get a break. It's nice. Temperatures in the lower to mid 20s over the interior, mid to upper 20s along the coast. For tonight into tomorrow morning, it's going to get chilly. It's going to get very cold, and that's going to be a key to this forecast for the first part of this forecast. Temperatures ranging from the single digits to lower teens over the interior and mid-teens to lower 20s along the coast. Watch those dew points. Then precipitation starts to organize in the afternoon and pushes into the evening with snow, sleet, freezing rain, just a mess. Temperatures will be rising into the lower to mid-20s over the interior and upper 20s to mid-30s along the coast. And then on Sunday, temperatures pretty much go nowhere. They pretty much are staying pat with your temperatures holding into the upper 20s to mid-30s over the interior, over the coast, and lower to mid-20s over the interior. While this is happening, mix of precipitation in the morning. We get a little bit of a break, but still kind of an isolated rain or snow shower in the afternoon with some sleet mixed in here and there. And then on Monday, we get another wave coming through, and this also will be a mix of snow, sleet, freezing rain, same scenario. Temperatures basically go nowhere with low temperatures over the interior in the upper teens to mid-20s. High temperatures over the interior, mid-20s. Temperatures along the coast on Monday will range from the lower to mid-30s for lows and highs. Temperatures go nowhere, and where you might be 34 degrees, hey, you get a cold rain. But if you drop a degree or two, then you're dealing with ice. So it's a real mess out there. On Tuesday, there's our next storm, the one that's currently in the desert southwest. It will be lifting up towards us. High pressure to the north. We got a low pressure system redeveloping. Again, this all comes down to timing. How fast does this redevelop? How much cold air is able to build south? What type of boundary layer are we dealing with in terms of how much snow, ice, whatnot? So there's a lot of questions involving here. So this storm's going to be very complicated. But again, it wouldn't be this winter without it. So temperatures on Tuesday will range from the upper teens to mid-20s over the interior, upper 20s to lower 30s along the coast. And then high temperatures will range from the lower to mid-30s over the interior and mid-30s to lower 40s along the coast. Now, if this low pressure system happens to develop faster off the coastal waters and this high pressure system's locked in, then that would mean instead of an easterly wind, you get a northeasterly wind, and that means that those temperatures are about 5-6 degrees colder. And so that would mean all snow. So that is going to be the question for Tuesday. Wednesday, we get a break and I get to take a nap. Look for temperatures to range from the lower to mid-20s over the interior, upper 20s along the coast, high temperatures in the upper 20s to lower 30s over the interior, and mid to upper 30s along the coast. But then we're right back at it on Thursday and Friday with another winter storm. Gee, doesn't this look similar to that? Yep, pretty much the same type of scenario. How fast is the transition? What's the position of the primary low pressure system? If the low is like this, if it's like this structure, then you get a southeasterly wind and everyone warms up. However, if this low pressure system's a stronger one, then you end up with a northeasterly wind and you get cold air built in, and that means snow for everyone. So right now I'm leaning on the colder solution because I think that has a little bit more support. So temperatures on Thursday will range from the lower to mid-teens over the interior, mid-teens to lower 20s along the coast for lows. High temperatures range from the mid-20s over the interior, upper 20s to lower 30s along the coast. And then on Friday, temperatures go nowhere. Over the interior, upper teens to lower 20s. Along the coast, upper 20s to lower 30s throughout the day. So complicated forecast, but hey, spring isn't that far away. We'll talk about that tonight in the live chat. Have a wonderful day, and as always, stay safe out there.